My son was lowered into the earth, and the only sound was the wind. My phone buzzed in my pocket. A text from my brother Robert. "Stop being difficult, Maya. We need to talk about the house. It's urgent." He wanted my boy's inheritance to pay for his dream vacation home. They had no idea what I had already set in motion. If you're watching this, hit subscribe and drop a comment telling me where you're tuning in from. Let me rewind. Let me show you how the family I loved became strangers. 4 months ago I lost my Liam. He was only 32. Car accident on a rainy highway. The funeral was set for a Tuesday. And that exact same evening, my brother Robert decided to host a massive business success party for his son, Cody. Because apparently, remembering a nephew was less important than celebrating a promotion. Maya, you get it, right? Robert's voice was smooth as oil on the phone the night before. We can't reschedule. The hotel ballroom is booked solid for the next year. The deposit was huge. I stood in my silent living room, clutching Liam's old baseball glove. Of course, I heard myself say, my voice a ghost. Business is business. The irony was a sharp pain in my chest. So, while I sat on a cold metal chair at Green Meadows Cemetery, watching them lower my boy into the ground, Robert was toasting his son's future. There were 6 of us there. Just 6. Me, the funeral director, Liam's childhood best friend, Jake, his college roommate, Anna, and old Mr. Gable from the corner store who Liam always helped with groceries. 6 people for a young man who would give you the shirt off his back. Because his own blood chose fancy appetizers over saying goodbye. The funeral director, a woman named Ms. Evans, whispered, "Mrs. Croft, should we wait? Traffic can be terrible." I shook my head. This is everyone. But they weren't stuck in traffic. They were exactly where they wanted to be. That night my house was a tomb. I had 23 missed calls and a flood of text messages. Not one said, "I'm sorry." My sister Brenda wrote, "Mom couldn't handle the sadness but she's thinking of you." My nephew Cody, "So sorry Aunt Maya. Uncle Robert says we'll make it up to you." The only message that didn't pretend was from Robert himself. "Maya. The house. Liam's trust. We need to meet. Tomorrow." He said the house, like Liam, was a piece of real estate, not a person. I poured a glass of whiskey, Liam's favorite, and made a decision. If they wanted to treat my grief like a negotiation, I would negotiate. But they were not going to like my terms. Robert was at my door at 8 a.m. sharp. He didn't even say hello. "Maya, we need to be smart about Liam's trust," he declared, making himself at home on my sofa. "Cody's looking at a vacation property. This investment could set him up for life." I placed my coffee mug down slowly. "Liam has been gone for 4 days, Robert. It's a tragedy," he said, not sounding tragic at all. "But life doesn't stop. This property is a golden opportunity. The view alone is worth $500,000. How wonderful for Cody," I said, my voice cold as ice. "Tell me, was the party a success?" Robert flinched for half a second. "Maya, don't. We wanted to be there, but sometimes you have to make tough choices." "Tough choices," I repeated. "Like choosing a party over a funeral." "It wasn't like that," he whined. "The party was planned for ages. Liam would have understood." Would he? Liam, who called Robert Uncle Lone Shark. Liam, who told me Robert only showed up when he needed a favor. Besides, Robert leaned forward, Liam made you the executor because he trusted you to do what's best for the family. There it was. He left very clear instructions about the trust, I said carefully. Robert's eyes lit up. Exactly. And I'm sure he'd want to help his cousin build a secure future. Cody's the future of this family now, Maya. The future of the family. As if my son had never existed. The trust has rules, I continued. Liam was very specific. Well, what are they? Robert was practically bouncing. I'm sure we can be flexible. Maybe an early distribution. The money is locked for a year, I said. Standard procedure. A year, he exploded. But this property will be gone by then. Maya, you have to push the lawyer. Make it faster. Why is this so urgent? Yes. Can't Cody wait? Robert's face turned red. This is a once-in-a-lifetime deal. You know how the market is. I sipped my coffee. I'll look at the papers, I lied. I'll see what's possible. Robert beamed. Thank you. I knew you'd see reason. As he left, he turned back. Oh, and Maya. Maybe let's keep this between us for now. You know how Brenda gets about money. That afternoon, I went to the old fishing spot Liam loved. The river was calm. Well, kiddo, I said to the water. Your Uncle Robert paid a visit. He sends his regards and his real estate portfolio. A bird chirped in a tree, and it felt like an answer. I pulled out the envelope. Liam's will and a letter he wrote me. Mom, it began. If you're reading this, I didn't make it. I'm sorry to leave you alone with the vultures. Especially Robert. He knew. Course he knew. The trust money is for the Animal Rescue League. To build that new shelter wing we always talked about. Robert will try to tell you I'd want it for Cody's investment. Don't believe him. I wouldn't give Robert a dime to save his soul. I smiled through tears. There's one more thing, Mom. You're in charge. If the family gives you hell, remind them that you reap what you sow. They made their beds. Now they can lie in them. My phone buzzed. Text from Cody. Aunt Maya. Dad told me the awesome news about the trust. Thank you so much. Can you come see the property plans this weekend? The plans he was making while I was planning a memorial. I typed back. We'll talk soon, honey. He replied instantly. Can't wait. This is going to be epic. Liam would be stoked. We're investing in the future. Investing in the future. Is that what we were calling it? I stood up, dusting off my jeans. Don't worry, Liam. I've got this. Robert wants to play games with your memory. He picked the wrong mom to mess with. The next day, Brenda and my other brother, Mark, showed up at my door. They had the same hungry look as Robert. Maya, Mark began, using his used car salesman voice. Robert mentioned you might need support with Liam's estate. How kind, I said. Brenda put on her fake concerned face. We just want to make sure you're not overwhelmed. Grief can cloud your judgment. What judgments are you worried about? Yes. They glanced at each other. The trust fund, Mark said bluntly. Robert said it was significant. We think it should be divided among all the nieces and nephews. For college, for starting businesses. It's only fair. Fair, said. Liam was very clear about where that money should go. To the family. Brenda insisted. He wouldn't want to play favorites. Wouldn't he? I walked to the mantel and picked up Liam's baseball trophy. You want to talk about fair? Let's talk about the 6 people at his funeral. The room got quiet. This isn't about the funeral, Mark mumbled. It's about family helping family. Get out, I said softly. They left, but I knew the war had just begun. A few days later, Cody came to see me. He looked young and scared. Aunt Maya, he whispered. Dad's putting a lot of pressure on me about this property. He says it's my chance to prove I'm not a failure. What do you want, Cody? Yes. He stared at his hands. I don't know. I kind of just want to travel. See the world before I get tied down. But Dad says that's irresponsible. I handed him a section of Liam's letter. Liam had written, "Tell Cody that a life lived for someone else's dream is a prison. Build your own." Cody read it and started to cry. He really said that. He did. He also left you the number for a career counselor, a friend of his who helps people find their own path. Cody hugged me. Thanks, Aunt Maya. Nobody ever asks me what I want. Robert called, furious. What did you say to my son? He's talking about backpacking through Europe. Maybe that's what he needs, I said. I met Robert at a coffee shop. He was fuming. This property is his future, Maya. No, Robert, I said. It's your future. Your trophy. His face went purple. You're going to ruin his life because you're sad. My son is dead, Robert. That's not sad. That's devastating. And you want to use his memory to buy a timeshare. It's not a timeshare, he yelled. People stared. This isn't over. I'll challenge the will. I'll prove you're not fit to handle this. Try it, I said calmly. My lawyer, a sharp woman named Angela Rossi, explained the battle ahead. Robert hired a pit bull attorney. They're going to claim you're too grief-stricken to be rational. Because I want to give money to save animals instead of funding a vacation home? Exactly. Angela said we needed to be ready for anything. They might even ask for a mental evaluation. The audacity took my breath away. Then Cody came back with a manila folder. Aunt Maya, I found these in Dad's office. It was loan documents. Robert was drowning in debt. The investment was a desperate gamble to get out of it. He's in trouble, Aunt Maya. Big trouble. The pieces clicked. Robert's desperation wasn't just greed. It was panic. I told Brenda and Mark about Robert's debt. They were shocked. He borrowed money from me last month, Mark said. He told me it was for a can't-miss stock tip. They apologized for their earlier behavior. They were afraid too. They asked me to talk to Robert, to stop him from a legal battle he couldn't afford to lose. But the biggest shock came from a woman who visited me. Mrs. Croft. I'm Lisa Tran, a reporter. I'm investigating the property developer Robert and Cody are involved with. She told me the developer was under investigation for fraud. The dream property was a scam. If Cody invested, he would lose everything. Robert was so desperate. He was about to walk his son into a trap. Called Cody immediately. You cannot give those people any money. The whole thing is a fraud. I introduced him to Lisa. He listened, his face pale. Dad, he was so sure, he whispered. He was wrong, Cody. Dangerously wrong. In the lawyer's office, we laid it all out. When Robert and his attorney arrived, we were ready. His lawyer's confidence vanished when we presented the evidence about the fraudulent developer. The judge listened carefully to our explanation. He saw that my refusal to give Robert the money had actually protected Cody from being scammed. The judge dismissed Robert's case. He said I had acted wisely and in perfect accordance with Liam's wishes. Afterward, Robert looked broken. Maya, I didn't know. I was just trying to fix everything. You almost broke everything, Robert, I said. But I saw the fear in his eyes. The fear of a man who had almost lost everything. I didn't give him the money. But I did help him find a financial advisor to sort out his debts honestly. It was what Liam would have wanted. Second chance. 6 months later I got a postcard. It was from Italy. Cody, smiling bigger than I'd ever seen, standing in front of the Colosseum. On the back he wrote, Aunt Maya, I'm working as a tour guide. Seeing the world just like I wanted. Used my own savings. Liam would have loved it. Thank you for everything. Love, Cody. That evening I went down to the Animal Rescue League. The construction was starting on the new Liam Croft Memorial Wing. It would save hundreds of animals. I looked at the blueprint and felt a peace I hadn't felt in a year. You did it, kiddo, I whispered. Your memory is going to do so much good. The family learned hard lessons about pressure and greed. Cody found his own path. And because of my son's love, countless animals would have a second chance at life. That was a legacy worth fighting for. Thanks for listening to my story. If you felt something, please let me know in the comments. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to Anon Voices for more stories of real life, real loss and real strength. Your support means everything.